City of Somerton work session. We're gonna skip all formalities and just go to roll call, and then we're gonna start with the presentations.
Mayor Gerardo Anaya,
Present.
Vice Mayor Jesus Roldan, Councilmember Luis Galindo,
Present.
Councilmember Miguel Villalpando, Councilmember Juan Castillo,
Present.
Councilmember Marta Gonzalez, Councilmember Lorena Delgadillo.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Mr. Galaviz.
Mayor, tonight we have Mayor and Council, we have an update for you on the CIP projects that were proposed and approved by council this fiscal year. So we'll start off with Public Works update.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Name is Charles Gutierrez, Public Works Director. Tonight, we're going to talk about the Public Works Department. Capital improvements are projects that require the expenditure of public funds for acquisition, construction, or replacement of infrastructure necessary for the community. In the Public Works, we have 5 actual divisions. Of those, only 4 receive funding for special projects or equipment for fiscal years. The city has an annual robust program for projects in excess of $100,000 that look at current and long-term needs of the city, such as repair, replacement, or construction of streets, stormwater, sewer systems, and facilities for the operational function of water and wastewater divisions. Next one. Tonight, we're going to talk about my divisions inside the Public Works, the HERF. There will be 6 projects. In the water, 2 projects. Wastewater, 3 projects. Sanitation, 1 project. And then we'll talk about the West Somerton Master Plan design and a tag team with Parks and Recreation and Public Works. Tonight, I've invited the supervisors of Public Works, Mr. Raul Rodriguez from the Streets Departments, Mr. Leo Lomeli from the Water, Jose Palomares from the Wastewater, and from the shop, Luis Aguirre.
Welcome.
Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it. Since this is their projects, I invited them to be a part of this too. Tonight, we're going to talk in the streets first. The West Main Street pathway replace of solar power on pedestrian streetlights, the pedestrian lights, the pathway extension improvements at Valle del Sol landscaping, the lighting, Somerton Heights CDBG construction, water main replacement phase 2, Parkview Avenue and Main Street traffic signal, the pavement preservation of rural roads, the new Whacker compactor, and the new service truck for the fleet department. Next, please. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the West Main Street pathway replace solar power on the pedestrian lights. This project was put on a temporary hold at the beginning of the fiscal year due to other projects not funded. This project will now move forward. The timeline, January 2024, we'll have the scope refined 100%. And in February of this year, we'll release it to potential electric companies. February, March, select the company. Approximately March, by the end of March, award the contract. April, approximately 30 days to complete the project. And by May of this year, it will be done. Complete. Next one. This is the West Main Street pathway area. You can see what we're going to be replacing. We're running conduit up alongside of this right here to get rid of the solar lights. Go ahead, next one. The pathway extension and improvements at Valle del Sol landscaping, lighting. In February of this year, we will release the scope of work. We'll also be looking at doing some of it in-house. We'll select a company if need be. Looking at the March 24 contract with a notice to proceed. By March, late April, it'll be about approximately 45 to 50 days, and we should have the project completed in the May timeframe. Next, please. The pathway extension improvements at Valle del Sol landscape and lighting. Next. This area here is the Somerton Avenue looking east and Bingham Avenue looking east, looking west. Going backwards. The Parkview Avenue and Main Street traffic signal, the project awarded May 2nd of 23. The project is awaiting traffic signal arms in the cabinets. I was just notified today that the cabinets are arrived. The revised schedule of material, the Valmont lighting should be in approximately February 24th, and the lighting bases approximately March 15th. Estimated completion of this project will be April 24. Next, please. Parkview Avenue and the Main Street traffic signal. This is what it looked like at pre-construction. We just finished the concrete work there. You can see that they're putting in the pillars for the lighting. Go ahead. And this is some of the work that was done out there, them laying concrete on at the signal light area. Next. Somerton Heights CDBG construction water main replacement phase 2. This project is funded with CDBG and local general funds. Timeline is as follows. November 2nd, it was advertised. December 1st of 23, received 2 bids. January 16th, tonight, the council pending approval. January 29th, if everything goes well and all contracts are signed, January 29th, notice to proceed, and by May 29th, the completion date. Next. The area of concern is Sunflower Street and Federal Avenue. We are going to be doing a mill and overlay basically, and just a small piece on Federal Avenue. Go ahead. Pavement preservation of rural roads. This is a collaborative effort each year with Yuma County Public Works and jointly owned roads. This year, the segments were applied with the chip seal, County 16th Street between Avenue B and A.5, County 17th Street between Avenue F and Somerton Avenue, Avenue D, Highway 95 to County 16.5. Go ahead. And these were the areas of concern on County 16th Street and Avenue D. Next. And as we all know, back there on County 17th Street, the road is a little bit better. Next. On the water side of it, we have a 1.25 million gallon water storage tank number 3. And as you can see on this one here, it's also a Somerton Heights CDBG construction water main replacement phase 2. Next. This is the start of the project. You can see that we have some the old solar lights that had to come out. Those are the pillars. Those pillars weighed approximately 8 to 12,000 pounds each. We removed 15 of them. Next. You can see where the big excavator started to dig the first portion of the hole at the bottom. You can see that the tank ring has been made and getting ready to pour concrete. You can see the sand, the first layer of sand up there. Go ahead. And you can see the ring. The ring is actually there now. We've done some improvements on it already. We've added the water drain on it and different things like that. The sand will be leveled off to the top of it by the end of this week. And this week, starting tomorrow, the tank should be started to be delivered. Go ahead. And the Somerton Heights CDBG construction water main replacement phase 2. On this one here, I just wanted to show you the details of what we're going to be doing. Next, please. In the wastewater. Oh, here we go again. Somerton Heights CDBG construction water main replacement phase number 2. The Northeast Sewer Infrastructure Force Main, County 15th Street and Avenue E, and the design and a new service truck for fleet. Next. As you can see, this isn't phase 2. This is actually phase 1 of what they've done. They replaced the water line, and they've replaced some of the sanitary manholes. We'll be doing the water line and 3 sanitary manholes. Go ahead. And the Northeast Sewer Infrastructure Force Main, County 15th Street and Avenue E design. We met with JDA last week. It's at 60% right now. We have some questions. They will be entering into the geotechnical side of it within the next couple of weeks. We'll be working with a property owner to get that completed. Next. In the sanitation, we're going to be purchasing a side loader refuse truck for the residential side of it. Public Works and Finance. We were starting to complete negotiations with Rush, but now we possibly might have a DOA grant to possibly come through. So we're waiting just a little bit longer on that one there. We're going to try to order it before February. If it goes before February, we've been assured that by June, July, we'll still have the truck on hand here at the city. If not, then it'll be pushed back just a little bit. Next. And this is the older garbage truck. Next. So these CIP projects will be moved forward or not completed. Correction, I stand corrected on that. That on the bottom, it shows the pathway extension that's been removed. I removed that. The new service truck for fleet, this has been budgeted roughly about $12,000 for the current year. We're looking to move it forward, roll it over to 25. So that way the fleet can have a more reliable and more robust vehicle that will serve the shop in the city much better. On the HERF side of it, on the streets, the whacker. Thanks to Lewis and his shop, they were able to take the old whacker and make the necessary repairs so we do not have to purchase a new one. Next. And here we come to the West Somerton Master Plan and Design. This one here, myself and Helica will present this. This project is currently under design. The project features updated 271 parking stalls, approximately 4 acres on the lake, a community shelter of approximately 0.8 acres, 1.7 municipal pool area, ramadas, grass area, a U12 soccer field. The pool or the pond is going to be roughly about 10 feet deep. Next. Let me read this one here going into it. I'm sorry. So this project has evolved overall relationships established in a conceptual outlook. We looked at the unique landscape of Somerton and the surroundings to inform our approach. As we've heard during the process and previous engagement, Somerton is a neighborly and warm community that takes pride in its agricultural heritage. That heritage has produced a productive and abundant landscape whose forms and organizations have become synonymous with Somerton and its sense of place. Those forms are defined by the dynamic and layered juxtaposition of water moving and collecting forms, sinuous and radial, with the efficiency of the agricultural and urban grids, orthogonal and angular, combined with two compositional strategies offered a uniquely Somerton approach to organizing the lake and the areas around it, making for a collection of varied engagements and experiences. Through this approach, we are aiming to create an amazing community amenity that is uniquely Somerton.
Thank you, Charles. So good evening, Mayor and Council. It's Angelica Roldan, Parks and Recreation Director. I'm going to continue with this presentation. The slides show aerials that start to analyze the landform, natural and built. It looks at their relationships. The natural curve forms inspiring circular shapes and movement, while built environment, roadways, agriculture often leave marks of straight lines and form. The next slide shows how these forms reflect on the landscape. This is a foundation and framework for how the curve form of the natural environment is overlaid with straight geometry. This play on forms is what inspired the combination of the curve and circle as the dominant shape with the overlay of the straight lines results in an inspired combination of shapes and spaces that reinforce the layout of the site. So the next slide, we're going to, I don't know if you remember, we're able to meet all together as a team, and we came out with this design. It was already approved at a work session. And the next slide you can see is the last slide. It was the completion of the project or design. It was a completed basic design that we were all right now looking at it. So if you can see a better view of the lake. This is how it's gonna be in the future. Also the municipal pool, recreation pool, as well as the parking areas that you see around the park. We have a total parking of 271 stalls, total turf area of 69,230 square feet, and landscape area of 103,000 square feet. And the lake area is 3.94 acres.
And as you can see on this one here, they've actually put the names and designation of everything on here where you have up there in the corner in the top right, the pool, another pool, parking, ramadas, the grass area, everything inside there. So it's all coming into play where you can actually see this in your mind and the way it's going to look and the improvement that it is. There's any questions?
Any questions or comments? No?
Thank you.
Can have a busy May.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy rest of the year. Thank you. Thank you, supervisors, for coming. Appreciate it. Oh, and the last portion here, I just wanted to show you the actual amounts of each of the projects themselves. These show for each of the departments. You can look at these on your own time frame and look at them. If you have any questions, you can always call up city manager and we can go from there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have community development. So
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So we have our Community Development Director. Mayor and Council, Community Development, we usually don't have CIP projects, but this year we had one transferred to us, and that was the East Entrance Welcome Sign, the sign that is to be located on Main Street east of the city. This was transferred to Community Development in December of 2023, so Community Development will be seeing out the rest of the project. Next slide, please. A bit of an overview of this CIP project. This is for an entrance sign to be located on the north side of Main Street, approximately 250 feet east of the intersection of Main Street and Avenue D. The sign will be placed on existing city right-of-way, so there is no need to acquire further right-of-way. The sign will be a collaboration between the city of Somerton and the Yuma Union High School District. COFA High School, the welding club or the welding class of COFA, will be designing and manufacturing the sign. We'll be just designing and manufacturing the sign cabinet, so the metal part that is to be welded. Meanwhile, the city will install a concrete sign foundation and provide the APS meter if required. We may end up designing it to be solar or it may be hardwire, but if there is to be an APS meter, the city will provide that. The city is also currently seeking a partnership with a professional sign company to produce and install certain more complex electrical components of the sign cabinet. And I'll show you more or less what that looks like in a little bit. Next slide, please. This is the location of the sign. Like I said, 250 feet east of the intersection of Avenue D and Main Street. The reason it's placed so far back is that if we ever needed to add a right turn lane at this intersection, the sign would be placed far enough to allow for that to be incorporated. This is a preliminary design, just to give you a sense of the scale of the sign. It's going to be a big sign with multiple elements here: concrete, metal, LED, acrylic finishes here. And the big idea is for the electrical panels, the yellow and green as shown there, to be able to change colors to match it up with the water tower for whatever is going on. Breast cancer awareness pink for whenever the Toros win, purple and orange and whatnot. But you get the idea. That's what we're trying. Blue, yes. I was drawing a blank. What else do we have? Yeah, they're all throughout the year. There's stuff going on. But this is preliminary. This was given to the high school, and they will be providing the final design, which will of course be brought to you for final approval before. But this just gives you an idea of what the mindset is. Next slide, please. This is the project schedule. As you can see, the first two have come and gone. We are at January, so we are right now seeking a partnership for the professional sign company to manufacture those panels for the electrical light changing. We've contacted all the local ones, and we'll be having meetings hopefully by the end of the month to see if anyone's interested. In February next month, the Yuma Union High School District is to provide the city of Somerton with the proposed sign design, so for the final. In March, it would be brought to you, City Council, for final approval. In April, the city would produce the construction documents, which won't be very complex. It's just for the foundation and for the APS trenching if required. And then we're looking at a final completion deadline of, I put it there July, but more realistically, it's going to be June for final completion and everything. Andrea, next slide, please. And the financial impact is, we have $50,000 budgeted for this CIP in this fiscal year. And with those $50,000, we should be able to accomplish everything we've discussed. Especially if we, depending on what kind of partnership we obtain with one of the sign companies. Next slide, please, Andrea. And then the project staff, I will be managing this project, and the building inspector will be my assistant project manager. And we are available anytime to answer questions as this project progresses. Any questions from mayor and council?
Questions or comments?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council.
Next, we have Parks and Rec, Angelica.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Angelica Roldan, Parks and Recreation Department Director. I'm going to continue with the CIP projects that we have for our Parks and Recreation Department. We can start talking about our APS Underground Centennial Project. This is an ongoing project. We are in meetings. We had site meetings with APS as well as other departments. We're working together with Public Works. Our project manager will be Alejandro Camacho. He's actually helping us with this great project. So far, we already have the design. We've been working together with them. And the estimated completion for this project will be May 2024. Centennial Park fencing. We're also working in getting quotes for this great project. This will be we're going to start working on this project after the APS Underground Centennial Park project will be completed. So we don't overlap with both projects at the same time. So we always have to think smart. So this is going to be an estimate of 1 to 2 months, the completion. So if we're going to complete the APS Underground in May, we probably be done by June, July before the fiscal year ends. The Water Tower Lights project, we've been working together with Arizona Lights. We were not able to communicate with them or do anything last year because they were very busy with other stuff that they were doing our projects, but we are in communication with them, and one of the things will be having another meeting and making sure that we continue with the project. So the idea is to probably start this year and end probably at the end of this year as well. We have working ongoing Perrycombe Park grant matching. So far, what we got awarded last year, and we are ordering some restrooms. We're gonna be coming back for the next council meeting for the approval of the prefab restrooms for the soccer field. We are working together with James David also when it comes about the project and the design. So we're already looking into the last details for that as well. We have the community center remodel, which is the restrooms remodel. We are in the process of the RFP. We're in progress. The complete plan duration will be 6 months. So we're looking into probably finish by April of this year. Some of the projects that we completed CIPs is the Christmas tree at Centennial. We were able to purchase a $23,000 tree, 20 feet. So it was already completed. It took us around 4 months. We have a new vehicle that was also purchased for our Parks Grounds division. We also purchased new landscape equipment. It was really needed. We were able to work together with RDO and we'll follow the procurement process, and we're able to get really good prices with that company. And we also added a new ramp for skate park at Council Park, and it's also completed as well. Some other additions we have, just to mention, we have the addition of the lights for the skate park at Joe Munoz Park. I think this was part of the skate park project that we had before. We continue with the Zeroscape 3-year plan. We already started with one of the retention basins. And that's pretty much what I have. These are some highlights, and just continue with improvements of different parks that we have around the city. If you have any questions?
And the community, what kind of remodeling are you doing?
That will be just the restroom area. Mhm.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the two chiefs. We have PD and Fire. They're working on collaboration on the projects.
Mayor and Council, good evening. Araceli Juarez, Chief of Police.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Javier Hernandez, Fire Chief.
Mayor, we have a brief of some of the CIPs that we've been working on together, this myself and Chief Hernandez. So some of the projects, the first one is the server. We had allocated, or the council had approved 37,500. We were able to obtain 3 quotes. We have 1 pending that never responded. We're hoping to work closely with Chona and finalize this project here by February 2024. That'll be replacing the entire server for the public safety building that impacts both departments. Next slide. This is just a quick photo of what the server room looks like. Next slide. The other project is a CIP. The amount allocated was 81,700 for both departments. We obtained the 3 quotes, as you may see right in front of you. We follow in procurement for that one as well. We are gonna have a lot of money left over from if we decide to go with quote number 1. So we have other projects or other stuff that we'll be using that money as well for. And it's we're calculating February 2024 to get that done as well. The third project, oh, this is a roof. Go ahead. This is a roof. One of the leaks, or one of the major problems that we've been having, this is on the police department side, is that the leftover water from the AC unit running during the summertime is puddling up where the white pipe is at, and that's causing it to leak in partially our evidence room and our patrol room. Next slide. That is some of the pathway, and you can see the same AC unit to the far right of the photograph. Next slide. This is the leak inside the patrol room. If you scoot the slide a little bit higher, you're able to see a lot of the document areas that we have for the patrol officers to use. We've had to remove some of that and put buckets and other stuff while the issue persists. So we're hoping to resolve that here. I think I said February 2024. And that is the last photograph. With the puddling of the water, we're having to have an officer go up there and remove some of the debris that's piling up in the filtering to the roof. Next slide. And the last project that we have, or one of the last ones, is the phone system. We were allocated 70,000. We were able to obtain that money through DEMA grant. The total 70,000 through the DEMA grant. The total amount for the phone system is 76,686. So that'll cover most of the phone system replacement. Next slide. And that's calculated, go back to that one. That was calculated for March 2024 to be completed as well. This is what our current system looks like, both for the fire and the police side. These phones are 17 years old from when we initially moved into the building. That's 2007. I'm gonna be a little funny here, but if iPhone heard that, they would be very upset at us because they're getting replacements every year. But this phone works good. The problem with the phones is that they're deemed to be incompatible here pretty soon. And that's a recommendation from the phone company that if they break, they're going to break for the entire public safety building. Some of these phones cover the dispatch center. There's what, three, 4 stations in the dispatch center. So the dispatch center also has these phones as well. So we don't want to run into the problem of the phones going down at any time for our public safety. Next slide, please. And this is a project that we had through ARPA. It's $150,000 that we have allocated. We have 3 quotes, but if you look at some of the amounts, they're way over the amounts that we have allocated. So we're continuing to look into that one. That is not going to be possible to accomplish CIP or project this year. It's not necessarily a CIP, but a project because of the, in the back part of our public safety building, we have a garage area or a separated area, which is our impound lot at this time, and it has a lot of the solar panels that Charles just shared with you right now. Those pillars are real heavy, and we have, I don't know, Chief, maybe,
I would say more than a dozen that are just part of the.
so if that gets removed, then we'll be able to move forward with this bay, police bay garage. Pending removal of solar panels. Next slide, please.
So what was the original plan when we budgeted this 150,000?
Mayor, I was not privy to that. That was before I came in, but that was the money that they had allocated.
But it was at the same location where the panels are at?
I don't know what the plan was or where they wanted to do, but they allocated just 150,000. I don't know what the conversations were about, where they're gonna place it or what kind of material they were using. The amounts went up on this, Mayor, after COVID. Everything went extremely up. And that's, I think that's the last slide of the photograph on that one. Is that it? Yes? And that goes just to show a little bit of how many, we've reached to several vendors to try to get some monies, some allocated money or some numbers for electricity, concrete, plumbing, and everything's just skyrocketed. So that's what we have so far. Do you have anything else, Chief?
And Mayor, if I may, this will be one that we'll be looking at because the solar does impact it if it wants to be in that, if we want to look at that location. So we're working with the PD, not just on that site, but the overall area for the PD and fire. So we're going to work on something to put that together and bring back to you some ideas we have. We're currently working with solar, and we're hoping that if that goes through, hoping this year, we can have those removed at no expense, or at least part of the project that we're working on. And so we will move forward on this one. But I think there's still some more details, design, what type of, like we said, access, what type of building, and really going down the size and what's permitted. So, but we do have other challenges coming with that. So we'll be working on that to kind of present to mayor and council for next CIP.
Mayor, if I may just add one more thing. The whole thinking behind this bay garage is that when we have a vehicle that we need to process for evidence, in the past, we've had to use the bay garage area of the fire department, and the fire staff has had to move all the engines, the ambulances out of there so we can secure a vehicle while we process it. And that takes hours. That takes hours to write a search warrant, hours to get staff out to help us out. And with this garage, we're hoping that we can use it for that and additional storage for evidence. Anything else?
Any other
That's all
questions or
we have.
comments?
Thank you.
Next, we have economic development, Jasmine.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jasmine Samudio, Economic Development Director, and I'm here to present to you my CIP projects and their updates. So for the fiscal year of 23 and 2024, we had 2 CIP projects. The first one being the facade improvement loan, and the second one being the acquisition of 235 West Spring Street. Next slide. The facade improvement loan and the acquisition, the facade improvement loan transfers over every year. I'll go back. Am I missing to that one? Yeah. The facade improvement loan transfers over every fiscal year thus far, and the purchase of 235 West Spring Street was new to the fiscal year of 23 and 24. Next. What is the facade improvement loan? A no interest, no money down payment, short-term loan of up to 10,000 is available to all properties within the infill incentive overlay designation looking to improve their building and residence facade. So essentially, business can take a zero interest loan from us and they can utilize it for outside of their buildings. So for a signage or maybe painting or improving their their aesthetic. Next page. The acquisition of 235 West Spring Street. The city of Somerton expressed interest in acquiring 235 West Spring Street. The property is situated next to the City Hall parking lot. If acquired, the city of Somerton plan to use that space to expand the parking lot on Spring Street. Next, please. So up next, I'm going to give you a quick timeline on the updates on it. So for the facade improvement loan, I have presented it to several businesses, and this is some of their responses. So I presented it to Godmother's 8535 Pizzeria. At the moment, she is not interested. I presented it to La Casa del Tamal. At the moment, she's not interested. I presented it to Super 43. At the moment, they did show interest. I also presented it to Jasmine Furniture, and at the moment, they did show interest, and we're currently in talks about this loan for them. For the acquisition of 235 West Spring Street, on August 7, 2023, appraisal was completed. Based on sales comparison approach, the home was appraised at $210,000. On October 2023, it was determined that property acquisition was not currently feasible for the city of Somerton. And under mayor and council direction, the city of Somerton shifted its focus to acquiring 335 West Spring Street. So the financial impact for my CIPs were $10,000 for the facade improvement loan and $300,000 for the acquisition of 235 West Spring Street. The financial impact update thus far, 0% of the facade improvement has been utilized, and 0% of the acquisition of 235 has been utilized. Any questions for me?
Any questions or comments?
On this first slide, Andrea, can you go all the way back to like one more down? There, it said that the overlay designation looking to improve building and residence. So is it for residents or only the building? Or,
In our
commercial?
yes, in our facade improvement, sorry, let me look it up. In our overlay that was designed by community development, it was under for both. I personally only presented to businesses.
Mayor, if I may. The facade improvements, sometimes they encompass the residential as part of the building in the front, but we currently don't have that. It's usually, the Main Street facades are usually business fronts and not residential, but we were thinking in the future that would include, because we do have some interest at 2-story, having the commercial business at the bottom and having apartments or some type of living residence at the top. So that was kind of what some of the wording was for. But Jasmine is correct. We're focusing really on business frontage.
So this doesn't pertain to residents?
No.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? On the facade improvement, we've had it in our CIP for maybe 5 years.
Yes.
Goes back, and I don't recall ever being used. So, you know, this next fiscal year, just analyze if there's really a need for it. And if not, maybe let's just, the concept is good. It's a good idea, but when it's budget time, there's always a need for money, and having this there for years and not being used. So it's probably time to really look at it and see if it's really needed moving forward. And hopefully some of the businesses take advantage, but maybe it can be used for something else that would actually benefit, because it's there. The program in theory is good, but if it's not being utilized, then why have it there and take away from other projects that we might have?
I agree. If I could speak freely, I have presented it to several businesses, and I have not, I could only mention I visited a few percentage, and I have received a positive feedback on it. I just don't believe it was presented in a consistent manner or presented in a way that they understood the benefit of having a loan with 0% interest rate. And as you all know, the interest rate right now is extremely high and across all banking strategies. So for me, I will continue to present it for the rest of the year. If I see more interest in it, I will come back with that information for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, that's all we have for the CIP updates unless you have any questions.
Any questions?
Oh, I'm
or
sorry.
Comments
Uh,
from council?
Real quick, she's not here, but I just wanted to clarify something if I may, Mayor, sorry.
Yeah.
The City Hall server, that was on the CIP and it was completed. So just wanted to give you that update. She's out in the training this week. But again, if you have any questions on any other items, please.
Any other questions or comments?
No, not a question, but I'm just, have we ever considered buying or acquiring the property east of the police department between the family?
Okay.
No, it's empty and it's kind of nice when you come into town because the trees overgrown.
Yeah. Councilman Galindo, we are, that is going to be part of the presentation that chiefs are working on. Because we need a little bit more land and we don't want the public safety facility to be landlocked. So we're going to be coming back to you with something similar to that in the future. But we definitely have that in mind, yes.
Yeah, my comment is like, heard the presentations. I feel that some are like very aggressive schedules that hopefully they're done. And like I always said, every budget season, I always look at this because when we're working on the budget, there's always a lot of projects that are put in there and many times they're not executed. And every time we pass a budget, I say this, that this is something that I really look at and hopefully we get them done because the monies are limited here at the city. And when we allocate money, the expectation is that these projects are done. A lot of the projects have just been started. We're past half of the year, fiscal year already. We're in our, January, almost 5 more months to get it done, procure them and award them and get them done. To me, hopefully it gets done. I just don't see it, but at least council's gonna keep a close eye, keep us abreast because we have a very aggressive schedule. A lot of them have started later, and so hopefully they're done. And for staff, remember for next fiscal year, when you present a CIP project, make sure that you have a very realistic expectation of what it takes to oversee a project. There's procurement that'll take 3 or 4 months, award and everything. That's just a third of the year right there. Just procurement. Design, it's another 6, 8 months. So whenever there's projects that are designed and constructed in 1 year, it's very hard. So just keep in mind because again, the budget process is very taxing on all of us. And so we gotta have very realistic expectations and hopefully by May or June, everything is done, but we'll see. It's 6:45, this work session's adjourned.
But I would like to get a copy para hacerlos, porque todo está en time frame. So así los hacemos accountable, como dices. Porque le voy a pedir que me dé una copia, pero hard copy, así no, so I can check. A ver, voy a hablar esto. Me hablaron de perro.
This is about only to travel
But perro.
as council member.